Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We are giving you a closer look at the aftermath after an Air India flight went down overnight with more than 240 people on board.
And it does feel slightly more comfortable today. Our dew point's a little lower than it was yesterday, but it's about to jump back up, and we'll talk about the thunderstorms that'll go with it.
Nationwide protests, more anti-ICE demonstrations are popping up around the country. We'll tell you where we are seeing new protests and how officials are responding.
Demonstrations happening in Raleigh. The Triangle is one of many areas that have seen large anti-ICE protests. We'll hear from protesters and lawmakers about this ongoing debate. And we're glad you're with us this morning here, 6 a.m. on a Friday Eve, a nice Thursday start with us. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. It really is a pretty start out there. We have a pink glow of a sunrise. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a really nice view out at RDU.
Yeah, we'll start here. Nice and clear. We do have some low clouds that have formed in a few places, especially up around Roxborough, reporting a little bit of fog right now. It's a pretty comfortable start for us. 70 degrees, but our dew point's down at 66. This time of year, when the dew points are in the 60s, it feels a little bit better than it does when the dew points are in the 70s, which is what we saw yesterday, and which is what we'll see all weekend. So this is just a very, very brief, small break for us. Comfortable in Roxborough at 61, and then 60s for South Hill, Rocky Mount, and Goldsboro, 70s in our southern counties, and the Triangle, our temperatures are in the upper 60s as well. So temperatures are running a little cooler than yesterday, in some places as much as 5 to 7 degrees. We get into the evening, especially around dinner time, our southern counties are likely to see a few isolated storm cells pop up. It is going to be a hot afternoon with highs in the low 90s. Our chance for rain for parts of the weekend is really going up. I'll show you the wettest day coming up. Ken?
All right, 6:01, Elizabeth. A quiet start to your morning commute so far for those of you getting ready to head out. Nothing but green showing up on our live traffic map from Windell to Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. Let's take you outside, give you a live look at I-40 in Carytown Boulevard. Very light traffic to report, but you expect that this time of the morning. You're listening to us on the radio. We do appreciate that. For those of you getting ready to head into the car, you can do the same. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
This is Chris Levingood here in the WRAL Live Center with another update regarding that crash, that Air India plane crash that happened overnight. I want to show you some new video here from the Associated Press to show you a little bit of the aftermath as smoke is clearly billowing there after the plane went down. Here's what we know so far, according from investigators. This is the BBC page sort of giving us an update on the left side here. It looks like there were 169 Indian nationals aboard that flight, as well as 53 people from Britain, 1 Canadian national, and then 7 Portuguese nationals, according to Air India. Again, this happened overnight, but in terms of what led to the crash happening, that is not quite clear. What we do know from a leader of the aviation industry in India is there were at least 42 people aboard here. You had 232 passengers and then 12 flight crew members here. There are live images that are up right now. I cannot show you them right now. I've been looking at it and they're too grim. We're trying to get some video that's safe to play here on TV, but we're going to keep on watching very closely here in the WRAL Live Center. But truly a grim update this morning.
Thinking of all those families, so much heartbreak there in India. Well, new video overnight of anti-ICE protests. This is video out of Seattle. Demonstrators blocked traffic for hours and a dumpster fire broke out in the middle of an intersection. This is part of ongoing immigration protests spreading across the country. Hundreds of people have been arrested in Los Angeles, and demonstrators are being detained in places like New York and Pennsylvania. A second straight night for a curfew is in effect for Los Angeles as demonstrations there have continued for nearly a week. That curfew is set to end at 6 a.m. California time. In New York City, police say they have detained more than 80 protesters, with more than 30 being charged with assault. Meanwhile, in Texas, demonstrators marched to San Antonio City Hall last night as Governor Greg Abbott sent the Texas National Guard to monitor the situation. Around a dozen states from coast to coast, including our own, have experienced large-scale protests and marches.
Hundreds of people marched the streets of downtown Raleigh in opposition to the Trump administration's immigration policies. Sky 5 captured the large crowds from above in Moore Square there, and our team was on the ground hearing from people involved. Demonstrators we spoke to say they were there to take a stand against what they call an attack on immigrant communities. This protest also comes just days after state lawmakers passed a Senate bill requiring state and local cooperation with ICE officials. Protesters spoke out against the bill while Republicans defend the measures.
police agents to act as ICE is honestly sickening, I would say.
The public sentiment is that folks that are here illegally should be removed from the country for the most part.
And more protests are set to take place this weekend across the state, including several in the Triangle area.
On the heels of new inflation numbers, we are waiting for more data today that sheds light on the state of our economy. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is here now to explain, Kelsey, the numbers that we're expecting and what they might tell us. Good morning, Kelsey.
Yes, Renee, good morning. This morning, we'll get another glimpse into the state of our economy. Earlier this week, we learned that inflation is creeping up, and that could impact the prices you pay here at the grocery store. Inflation went up 0.1% from April to May. That's less than what economists expected.
And this is where kind of digging into the details matters.
That's UNC economic professor Gerald Cohen. He says that small increase is likely a result of tariffs, and prices will go up even more. 5 on Your Side checked in with shoppers about how they're dealing with the uptick in prices.
Everything's so high, but I mean, a lot of it, what can you do? I never thought I'd pay $5 for a loaf of bread.
Cohen says tariffs can impact several industries here in North Carolina, like biotech, textiles, and agriculture. A new economic report is set to be released this morning at 8:30, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on those results. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
A maker of futuristic, fuel-efficient jets appears poised to pick North Carolina for a factory that would create thousands of jobs. Michelle McConaughey is here now with what could be one of the biggest job announcements in state history, Michelle.
It could, Jeff. We could learn this morning whether Jet Zero has chosen North Carolina for a massive factory. State and local economic development organizations are scheduled to make a major announcement today at Piedmont Triad International Airport in Greensboro. The California jet maker has been scouting sites for a facility that would employ more than 10,000 people. The company has been considering a site in Greensboro and was expected to make a final decision this month. If it is Jet Zero, it could be one of the biggest job commitments in state history. The factory is expected to employ more than 10,000 people once it's fully developed. Now, it's important to note this is not a done deal. Other locations are still being considered. We'll keep you updated on air and online.
We'll soon find out. Michelle, thank you. Chip maker Wolfspeed is laying off dozens of workers in Chatham County. The Durham-based company tells state officials it will cut 73 manufacturing managers, technicians, engineers, and other employees at its new factory in Siler City. Wolfspeed says the cuts are expected to start in August. Wolfspeed has been working to reduce costs as it manages debt and transitions manufacturing to high-powered chips. A push is happening to reinstate the principal of Carborough High School from administrative leave. Helena Thomas was put on leave earlier this month after a protest walkout by students. The district also got a 15-page letter from staff outlining their concerns like micromanagement and poor communication. However, the local NAACP branch says the district's response is too heavy-handed. They argue the school has improved under Thomas's tenure. They are pushing for her to be allowed to attend graduation. The school district says the paid administrative leave allows them to conduct an impartial investigation.
A man is accused of setting a car on fire after an argument with his girlfriend. This happened in Wake County, and Byron Hammond Jr. is in jail without bond. A witness took this video of the car engulfed in flames near Zebulon. According to the arrest warrant, Hammond is accused of threatening his girlfriend and damaging her TV and cell phone. Neighbors say after that, they saw him dousing the car with gasoline and setting it on fire.
No fat soldiers and no political opposition to the president. Those were the criteria for selecting soldiers for those prime seats directly behind President Trump during his remarks at Fort Bragg on Tuesday. This is according to internal 82nd Airborne Communications. The story was first reported by military.com. It also reported about a Trump merchandise shop that was set up to sell shirts and other items. WRAL spoke with the website's national security correspondent. He says the Army traditionally tries to position itself as apolitical, which is why he says this event prompted his sources to raise the alarm.
The way some of these troops behave would likely violate a whole host of Defense Department regulations, which effectively prohibit partisan activity in uniform. And that is what was so shocking about this event in particular.
In a statement to WRAL, a spokesman for the 18th Airborne Corps says the Army does not endorse political merchandise or the views it represents. The vendor's presence is under review to determine how it was permitted and to prevent similar occurrences in the future.
Covering Wake County, the next free HIV testing event is today. It's put on by Wake County Public Health. Testing will be available for HIV or other STIs, and $25 gift certificates will be available while supplies last. Today's event is at Western Health and Human Services Center in Cary from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Events are taking place at different locations throughout the month. Durham County is hosting its Aging Gracefully resource fair today. You'll get a chance to meet with vendors to talk about resources like in-home health care, Medicare, exercise, and nutrition. The event will be at the Human Services Building on East Main Street in Durham. It'll last from 9 to 5 today.
6:10 on your Thursday morning. Partial evacuation. Non-essential personnel have been asked to leave the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. What we know about the developing situation.
Graduation season. Area schools are hosting ceremonies again this week. What you should know before you arrive.
And today will be the driest day of the next 5, but still we'll have a few pop-up thunderstorms in parts of the viewing area. I'll show you who's most likely to see those today. 6:13, pretty sunrise happening all across the viewing area. There may be some pockets of some low cloud cover or fog, but for the most part, it feels pretty comfortable this morning. We've seen a nice little drop in our dew point, which means, a little drop in how it feels in terms of the humidity. We have a very small chance for showers and thunderstorms in our southern counties right around dinner time between, say, 7 and 9 o'clock. And today is one of the last days of school for some of our kids across our area. Wake County has today and tomorrow. High temperatures this afternoon are likely to be pretty hot in the low 90s. We move into the weekend and our chance for showers and thunderstorms really climb. It's a big weekend. It's Father's Day. I'll show you how to potentially plan around some of those storms coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. A really quiet start to your morning commute, really and truly, as you look live at the northern loop of the Beltline. This I-440 and Ridge Road. Traffic is beginning to pick up just a little bit, but flowing nicely in all directions. If I-40 westbound, part of your morning commute, take a look at this. You're coming in from Johnson County, even that southern loop of the Beltline from Capitol Boulevard to the Beltline, Wade Avenue, all delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio. We've got you covered, 101.5 HD3.
I want to bring you back here in the WRAL Live Center for an update. We have looked to see more information regarding that Air India crash from overseas, and it looks like the flight was aboard a Boeing 787. We're trying to get more specifics on that and see if Boeing has responded to that. But again, a Boeing 787. I just want to show you this video again on the BBC, but also we have more video that we're going to roll up here on the full screen, as you can see the aftermath. This is a residential area in India where this plane crash happened. The flight was headed from India to London, and London's mayor even saying right now the news is distressing, and his thoughts are with the family and friends of those who are aboard. He says he can only imagine just how devastating this must be, but he is in contact with the Indian government. We'll keep watching the aftermath here in the WRAL Live Center and get you an update as soon as we can.
The State Department is preparing to evacuate non-essential personnel from the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. The White House says this is due to heightened security risks, and the president is aware of the decision. It's not clear what is prompting the security concerns, but this comes as tensions are mounting with Iran over their nuclear program. An Iraqi government official says Baghdad is unaware of any threats that would warrant the evacuation.
President Donald Trump walked the red carpet with First Lady Melania at the John F. Kennedy Center. The couple was there for opening night of Les Miserables. Last night's show was also a fundraiser. People paid up to $2 million for a gold-level experience, which included premier seats, a photo with Trump, and a VIP reception. In February, the president appointed himself the chairman of the Kennedy Center. Several Les Mis cast members boycotted the show.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appointed 8 new members to the CDC Vaccine Advisory Panel, several of which were critical of the government's COVID-19 response. This comes just days after Kennedy removed the previous 17-member panel, citing conflicts of interest. The panel helps shape national vaccine policy. The group is expected to meet next month. Kennedy says the panel will not endorse new recommendations without definitive safety and efficacy data.
More than 12,000 students are expected to graduate across Wake County this week. Wake County Public Schools is urging family members to arrive early for those ceremonies and be aware of the procedures. A woman in Wilson County says she missed her daughter's graduation at Fike High School over the weekend. She wasn't let in the door after arriving only a few minutes before the ceremony, and she's now urging other parents not to make the same mistake.
For her to work as hard as she did, and for me not to hear her name and see her walk across stage, it did hurt. It hurt real bad.
And in a statement, Wilson County Public Schools officials say that they made parents aware they would not be able to enter the ceremony less than 10 minutes before it started. In Wake County, families will be allowed to enter throughout the ceremonies, but they are encouraged to find a seat 15 minutes in advance.
It is 6:18. Today we will stay mostly dry, a small chance for storms, but Elizabeth is tracking our next weather maker, which will put us into that unsettled pattern once again.
This high pressure system has delivered just a slightly drier air mass, so fewer chances for thunderstorms, and the humidity's dropped off just a little bit. But as that moves away from us, we get a big surge of moisture coming in starting tomorrow. That's going to bump up our chance for thunderstorms, and it'll bump up our humidity as well. Futurecast, as we get into the afternoon, shows a bit of cloud cover. I feel like we'll be partly cloudy for the most part. By 5 o'clock, starting to see a few cells developing, especially in our southern counties. That'll continue up until around, say, 10 or 11 o'clock this evening. But again, most of that's going to be south of the Triangle area. Those chances really do start to climb, though, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Fayetteville right now looking pretty quiet. There's a live look at Durham. Of course, the Bulls are in the middle of a homestand. We'll have their forecast in just a second. Looking partly cloudy in Chapel Hill and mostly clear here in Apex. Let's jump on out and take a look at our forecast. If you're headed out to the Bills last night was Whiskers Wednesday. We had some video a little earlier of the cats out there. It was just hilarious. At 6 o'clock this evening, 88 degrees. Going to be a fairly warm day, but again, at the Bull Stadium, our chance for rain is pretty minimal. It does go up, though, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to see daily scattered thunderstorms. I think earlier you can get out if you have something you need to do, the better chance that you'll get it done without getting wet. Tomorrow morning, Futurecast is showing some showers, so we may have some rain early tomorrow, lasting on and off through a good bit of the day, with a better chance for some storms later on in the evening. On Saturday morning, too, a small chance of a shower, and then later in the afternoon and evening, those chances for thunderstorms go up. So tomorrow's a 50% chance, 60 Saturday, and an 80% chance on Sunday for Father's Day. So not looking great. How much rain? We could easily see 1 inch to 2 inches, and so Sunday and Monday in particular, we're going to be on the watch for excessive rainfall and potential flooding. Our high temperatures over the weekend are likely to be in the 80s, but it's going to be really sticky. And, you know, Ken standing over here for Father's Day, forecast just not looking great.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, thanks. Hey, you know what? You're getting ready to head out the door. You've got nothing but green showing up on our live traffic sensors this morning from Wendell to Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. As we isolate the Beltline, many of you use the Beltline as a way to get to and from work or your appointments this morning. Nothing but green showing up. For those of you using I-540 as an alternate east-west route, absolutely great news. If you get on the Lewisburg Road all the way to I-40, nothing but green showing up this morning. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
6:20 now. Concealed carry repeal. Changes to state law are headed to the governor's desk. The potential new rules surrounding being able to carry a gun.
And denied health care coverage? Don't give up. Later in the hour, 500 Sides Keely Arthur walks you through appealing your insurer, how your doctor can help make your case, and what to do if the insurance company still says no.
Coming up on Today, remembering Brian Wilson, the lasting impact of the visionary Beach Boys musician.
And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We're back with what's trending next.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Pope Leo returning to his Chicago roots.
And a new album for one of the world's biggest pop stars. Ken Smith here now with what's trending on our Thursday, Ken.
Yeah, Jeff and Renee, let's start with the Pontiff. Pope Leo representing his favorite baseball team during his weekly appearance at St. Peter's Square. The Pontiff took a picture wearing a Chicago White Sox hat after he was announced as Pope. His brother actually revealed that the Chicago native supports the Sox over the Cubs.
Yeah, clearly a Southsider and not ashamed about it at all. It's America's pastime.
Yeah.
He's the first American Pope.
I know.
You got to go for it.
Southside. So listen, Grammy pop star Sabrina Carpenter trending this morning after announcing a release of her new album. The date is coming up. It's Man's Best Friend. That album will be released August 29th. Now, last week, Carpenter released the album's lead single, Man Child. The song quickly shot to #1 on Spotify's U.S. and global charts.
Sabrina is staying busy. I mean, just last year, she released her album Short and Sweet. Of course, that gave us the hit song Espresso that became the song of the summer. So we'll see how this album does. But a lot of fans, my 11-year-old's huge fan of hers. And I got to admit, I like her songs. They are catchy.
They are. What's going to be the next song of the summer?
Ken, thank you. It was a fun night for cat owners at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. The Bulls hosted a Bring Your Cat to the Ballpark night. It was called Whisker Wednesday, and we just love seeing this video. You can see all those cute cats there. Sir Purr from the Carolina Panthers and Rory from the NC Courage were there as well. Proceeds from the game will go towards second chance pet adoptions. Good to get out.
Didn't know what to do with that big kitty there. U.S. Open Golf Tournament gets started this morning. Oakmont Country Club near Pittsburgh. It is just minutes away, 6:45 first tee time. Bryson DeChambeau will be looking to defend the title he won last year, Pinehurst #2. We all remember that. WRAL's live coverage of the tournament will start tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, and continue throughout the weekend.
Making their voices heard, demonstrators flooding the streets in Raleigh as part of nationwide anti-ICE protests. We'll hear from people on both sides of the issue.
And we now know that the flight, that Air India flight that crashed overseas overnight, was aboard a Boeing airplane. Coming up in a couple of minutes, a statement from Boeing.
And today's likely to be the driest day of the next 5. A 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, though, in part of the viewing area. I'll show you who's more likely to get wet coming up.